Welcome to the Good Talk, our recap and Q&A video, where we go over the game that we just played, which was Custodes against the new specialty army, the Terminus Est, which is really just the Deathguard, Typhus, and all that. And if you haven't seen that battle report, you're gonna want to watch that first because we're gonna spoil everything.
That's right.
And we're also gonna go over all the questions left over from the show. And I have to say, as you said, this is not the strongest one of these armies, but it is pretty cool.
It's super cool, and although again it's not the most competitive, it makes sure to add a lot of flavor and also make sure that you can't overdo it and kind of max things out, which is interesting.
And this was a cool matchup, right? Like you had 120 Poxwalkers, basically zombies,
That's right,
against just a wall of Custodes infantry. And at first, like those early turns of the game, there was just nothing you could do to even make a dent in my army. I think it was like. It was until like the end of turn 2, and you still hadn't wounded a Custodes once.
Yeah, no, I was just losing scores of Poxwalkers left.
Poxwalkers were just dying,
just downing.
and then the actual Marines started coming in, and you started like actually taking huge pieces out of my army.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, the regular Plague Marines with the flails,
and even just the knives. They now have AP, you've got strength.
They do a ton of work. So it was cool, it's interesting, because also it let me kind of max on this other concept, which is small 5-man squads with just the flail, and actually gave me a lot of utility to play the field.
Totally.
Kind of bringing it up. So I had a great time.
Yeah, I think the Poxwalkers, they really underperformed in this game.
Yes.
And because, you know, the whole idea is that they have enough bodies to last,
right?
But the Custodes just chewed through them like they weren't even there.
Yep.
But the Plague Marines and your characters, they were phenomenal.
They were on fire.
And they really showed that they're just so much better than the Custodes point for point. And if the army was filled with them, the Custodes would not have had a chance.
Right.
But because you had so many points in Poxwalkers,
it
ended up being a really close game. The Custodes were very close to being tabled. But in the end, those early turns where I racked up so many points ended the game with me being, what, 6 points ahead?
Yeah, that's right.
And that was really, there was so many ways that you could have made those 6 points if the game had just gone a teeny bit different, right? Like you lost 2 of your while we stands, which didn't necessarily need to happen.
No.
You just want to fight with your cool characters, right?
It was slightly on accident, to be honest. Typhus, I knew he was going to be on that flank, and he could be relatively tough, but the Lord of Contagion didn't really have a role. He didn't really have a spot, so he kind of died incidentally.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple things like that. I am glad, however, that domination at the end didn't cost me the game.
Right.
Because that was just, it wasn't a mistake, but it was just
something you could have prevented.
A tragic series of events, exactly. So that would have gotten me, 3 more points, bringing it even closer. But
if you even had 1 more while we stand, plus that, the game could have easily been yours.
Which is cool. That's
and
what
that was only, there was a charge that you could have made on turn 3 or something, which also would have probably won you the game on that turn as well, because it would have hurt me on holding. You would have dominated a turn earlier.
Yeah. Oh, the Poxwalkers.
Yeah, the Poxwalkers, right?
Yes, that would have been huge.
There were several opportunities for you to have taken that game.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
So it was really cool.
It was cool. It was one of those games where it felt like an absolute slog, me trying to get back into the points, but in a good way. With the second half.
It felt like a slog because you were. I was up from the beginning.
Yeah.
But then when my army started dying, it's like I have very few assets.
It was trying to shut down your efficiencies, which is what you're all about, right? And so in the early game, the Custodes were able to move up,
shoot,
fight, boom, 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 and then as I was able to start getting in there, slowing your movement, preventing that, we were able to kind of catch up. But it was really cool.
It was good. So are you going to give me an MVP for the game?
Oh man, it's got to be the Plague Marines. Honestly,
the flail.
It's the flail.
It's always the flail. It's always the flail.
We went to like multiple mini Candylands tonight.
The flails are amazing.
Yeah, they're so good.
The Plague Marines are so good.
Yeah. So
and
they're
just like reducing my toughness, so you're actually wounding really well. Plague knives, so you're getting your rerolls. Yeah. They were really good.
Really tasty. What about you? Do you have an MVP?
Oh man, everything did like a little bit.
Yeah.
There wasn't a thing that really exploded. That banner giving me all the extra attacks was pretty solid, right? Yeah. And it came in clutch. He actually killed Typhus in the end, right?
That's right.
So I'm going to give it to the Vexilla.
Yeah.
That's actually a special. If you go check, it's a Vexilla model I made out of Trajan.
That's
so
Trajan?
It's a Trajan body with a Vexilla on it.
He remembers.
Unfair advantage.
It's an unfair advantage. He's secretly a captain commander. So it's pretty good.
That's so cool.
All right, do you want to do some Q's and A's?
Yeah, let's take it over.
Yeah, let's do some Q&A. All right, thank you, Maxwell. You had 2 that you wanted to say for Q&A. So here we are.
All right, let's do it.
Sure.
The Q&A. Thanks, Maxwell. On the next Blood Angel stream, what are your thoughts on Super Death Company Heavy List? Death Company Terminator Captain with Relic Blade and Imperium Sword. Seems like it would be a great boogeyman.
Yeah.
For the Horde of Death Company.
That'd be really cool.
So we have 20 Death Company, and then we have one Death Company character right now who is just a Gravis captain.
Yep.
We could of course call anybody a Death Company. We could say like they just fell, didn't have time to paint. They're like they fell on the battlefield.
They're falling now.
They're falling right now. This is mid-fall. So we could trick someone else out. But I love the Death Company.
They're very cool.
They're great. You've actually been really like leaning into them hard. A big unit of hammers now, right, to deal with Deathguard?
Yeah, with Deathguard and Dark Angels. I think hammers, Blood Angels solve almost all their problems in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they bounce, they lose the game.
Yep.
So they need tools to dig out really tough things, and I think Death Company are the perfect tool.
They're pretty solid.
They get up to 5 attacks each with Thunder Hammers.
And you get to reroll ones against Chaos, so it works on both those armies.
Yeah, you stole my joke.
I saw it in your eyes.
You're like, swoop.
For the same reason, though, I think Chapter Master is becoming mandatory with Blood Angels.
Yeah.
And I would say, Dante, give him a thought. Consider.
Yeah.
So before I do the World Eaters,
Okay.
after I do the Ultramarines, I'm making my special Dante.
Yes.
I'm going to do it.
Awesome.
It's going to be great. I can't wait to get him on the board.
That's going to be really cool.
All right, and then thanks again. Question number 2. How do you counter Deathguard VATs when playing Blood Angels? Canceling charge benefit seems like a hard counter.
Yeah.
You play around it. You can't beat it. You can't just
You physically play around it.
Right. Yeah, you can't apply your face to it. You'll just lose. If you watch our, was that a week and a half ago, Tuesday game?
Yeah.
We had that matchup. We had Blood Angels against Deathguard. And you just have to find that like little sliver of like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you where you're out, but you're still like hitting the thing he's trying to protect.
It's real rough. The Flame guy, he's so good. We keep saying like top 3 models in the game, and we mean it. Like he's about as good as a Warhammer model gets. And it's because he just won't stop. Like he has the no charge, the fight last, and the ruthless flamer. And he's cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
He's too good.
He's super nasty. But you know, like Bridger said, it's really the 3-inch bubble that you have to watch out for. The 6-inch sucks, especially for Blood Angels, but it's really the 3-inch that makes it so you don't have a chance. So go over and measure very, very carefully where's the edge of that 3-inch bubble. You know, when Bridger
Even
went
the 6 inch is big because your opponent still fights before you.
Right.
On the 6 inch.
But at least you get to fight.
Not if you're dead.
Which you will be. All right, chat. Do I sound good yet? Am I okay? Because I had my mic in my lap, and I think it might be too far. Maybe I need to put the mic back. That's not going to reach. I'm going to leave it here. Chat, tell me if my mic's okay.
Oh, is the mic cutting out?
That's weird.
It should have enough room, but we can, this
The arm of the chair, it's
this QA thing is still new to us.
The Golden Throne, it has some interference, Brian.
That's true.
That's right, yeah. It's built in.
You know what, before we do the next question, you know what we haven't done? We haven't checked if we have any mail.
Oh, check if we have mail, Brian?
I think we do. So right under here, it's a huge box.
Oh
my God, what is it here? So we've got a giant box, as you can see here. This is from Kim Peters in Surrey, British Columbia.
Very nice.
And, Kim offered to send us some chocolate. It's really packed well.
There's been a lot of big talk about the Canadian chocolate.
Yeah, it's really well packed here. Okay, so let's see what we've got.
Oh my gosh.
It's heavy. So if this is okay. Well, we've got a letter. I'll give this to you.
Thank you.
Are we reading letters on air? We should think of a policy.
We'll think of. I think we'll be reading the letters. But yeah, you'll make a judgment call. All right, I'm going to show you. This is some good, fine Canadian stuff. We've got Coffee Crisp.
Ew.
Coffee Crisp is really good. It's coffee flavored. It's crunchy. Yeah, you love coffee. You're going to love this one. Okay, and actually, because Coffee Crisp is my favorite, look at this. Look at this.
Oh, jeez.
This is like
Brian.
7,
What?
8, full size. These are packages of full size candy.
That's too much.
Kim, you're fattening us up here.
I also realized I recognize your username, so good seeing you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is Big Turk. This is like a Turkish delight. Do you know what Turkish delight is?
Yes.
Like reality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In not reality.
It's a
Do you know what it is in
Candy
not?
version?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, really? It's like a gelatin. It's like a jelly.
Yeah.
It's like, think of jelly beans, but like long before we had the technology to make jelly beans.
This is true.
You make gelatin and you put powdered sugar on it.
Yes, that's right. So that one's just with chocolate instead, I think.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, so we've got caramel. This is like caramel chocolate. It's really good. Oh my God, so much good stuff in here. What do you got?
So much.
Wonder Bars.
Very nice.
Oh, I love the Wonder Bars. Mr. Biggs. Canadians know what's up here.
What are these names?
Oh, okay, hold on. Swedish berries.
Are they different than Swedish fish?
They're very similar.
That's totally different.
But do you really want your candy fish? or berry.
One's more whimsical than the other, I'll tell you that.
What do we got down here? It says poster. Can you look this up?
Oh, jeez. I was
The
like, I think
poster.
you just pulled out the bottom of the box.
We got one more thing. One last thing we'll check in this box. This is quite a haul here.
All right, we have to frame this. It's a Gorka Morka. What is it?
Oh,
That's amazing.
that's very cool.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay, this is a book, The Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer. What a cool little
Now
book.
hold on, Adrian. You read the letter. Are we supposed to sign these and return them?
That's true. Apologies, Melody. Nope. It says no matter what you call it, there's no place like home with the Canadian chocolates, and it's just like a
Thank
congratulations.
you so much. This is great.
you.
Honestly, my wife is going to love this too. And Hero of the Imperium. These are great books.
This is going up.
Oh,
This
the
is going
Gorka
up.
Morka.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
so great.
Oh, yes.
Well, Kim, this is
Thank you very much.
This is amazing.
Very, very
This is
kind
a
of
haul. I'll crack up a couple of these small ones for you. And you don't want a coffee, or you're taking the Big
I
Turk.
might
I'll
keep
take
this
a
entire
coffee.
bag of Big Turk, Brian.
I'll give you a coffee flavored.
I love coffee.
You can get into the next question. I'll deliver some chocolate.
I know this was meant for you.
I wonder how bad
But-
the rustling is on the mics.
I think
fine,
I'm
it's
keeping
fine.
this whole bag. These are amazing.
Really?
It's like Swedish fish covered in chocolate.
Swedish fish.
Like,
You mean Swedish berries?
Yeah,
It's
Swedish
amazing.
berries.
Naturally. Well, let's take it away.
That is a huge haul of candy.
all right.
It's good, right?
That's really good.
Yeah, Coffee Crisp is where it's at.
All right, thanks, Brendan. Hey, Titans. With the well-received Deathguard Codex and update, what would you like to see to improve or change for the Thousand Suns release?
Ooh. So, you know how we have like the custom plague or the plague company abilities, and we also have the the upgraded plagues, things like that. They have all these amazing ways to make this idea of like plague and infection work better,
Yep.
right? And that's not just that contagion rate, all these things. So I want to see the equivalent of like, I don't know, different tomes that they have that unlock different abilities or things like I'm really interested in the customization of them, and I think this is really promising as an idea of what they could do, right?
I really want them to fix the secondaries. I think the secondaries
Fix meaning
make them good.
the psychic secondaries?
No, the secondaries that are in the book.
So you want, from now on, factions to have 3 or 4 good secondaries.
Yeah, I want the secondaries to be good.
That's going to make a new division of haves and have-nots.
Yeah, but it's not like we should intentionally impoverish the future codexes just because of the problem with the current ones.
Yeah, I think
To an extent.
most codexes, I've been very disappointed by the secondaries.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're treating the secondaries with as much care. I'm not trying to call them out or anything, but I think that
You just did.
there's a lot that goes into making a secondary. It's very complicated. And I think it almost is going to take, it's one of the areas of the book that I think needs more time and attention and careful thought and forethought about like, what are other books going to do? What's the basis of the game? Which categories are these in?
That's what it's
So,
at. Because
yeah.
it's like a huge cross section, which again, it's really complicated, and it's, not actually dissing them as far as that goes. But once again, today, just like before, I was like, oh, maybe I'll take the infection one. Well, guess what? It's shadow operations, and so it's just a little bit worse than just raising the banners.
Than banners, yeah.
And so considering like what categories these are in,
Yeah.
and what things they're competing with, was always important. That was
I agree.
one of the good things about Oath, I guess, was
Yeah.
before that all Space Marines were playing While We Stand We Fight, and now they at least couldn't do both. So that was like
Right.
a good case of them overlapping.
Agreed.
But
Yeah.
Cobra, I see you in chat talking about the pastries you sent. They were good.
they were so good.
They were great.
You should
Thank
start sending them to the studio, though.
That's true.
No, I don't think you can actually. I don't. Well, it depends. So
Yes,
the
the
bakery
address.
is near
Oh.
my house-ish, and so it depends how far they deliver.
Well, we can find a new baker.
This bakery, the cinnamon rolls were this big.
Yeah?
That's almost a problem.
It's so good. You have half
And
now,
we
half
do
later.
have a lot of confectionery to get through here. So maybe hold off on the baked goods.
Nobody can stop Cobra Commander.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, thanks. That guy, Brad. Pitch idea for new Orc Codex. 1 CP strat or infantry unit can start an action even if they are in engagement range with an enemy unit.
I think that's great.
I like that a lot. That's awesome.
I like
They're
it.
like raising the banner as they're like.
Yeah.
They're like using the other people's bodies to raise the banner.
Yeah.
they are the banners.
Very
Yeah.
cool. All right, thanks, Jerry. Have you guys solved the long-term media storage issue for your 4K video? Because I believe there's a Canadian tech priest who might have some tips. We haven't, right, Brian? We have some ideas,
Yeah. The
but
thing
we
is,
haven't.
so in the movie industry, there's common ways to do this, But the movie industry, let's say you're a big budget movie, you're making a movie,
Yeah.
you're only actually recording like so much footage, right?
Yeah.
At the end, and it's this one project. We do this 3 times a week.
Yep.
And we have many cameras for many, many hours, right? Like feature length, right? More than feature length every time on each camera. And 3 times a week. So we're basically like, we're like releasing more than the movies that come out in the theaters of hours of content per week. So it's like we need the budget of all of Hollywood to store and move our files. It's not reasonable.
But this Canadian tech priest, Brian, they'll do magic.
Well, you could build your own solution, which is what we've looked at before. You use like, you buy some servers and you just transfer it yourself and things like that. Most of the services that let you transfer files, they have a maximum file size. So it's like, 15 megabytes on a file or something, or even 15 gigabytes on a file.
I was gonna say.
We need several terabytes.
Yeah, we need multi-terabytes.
Yeah. So anyways, as sad as it sounds, the most cost-effective way is to literally mail a drive in the mail to a person that we want to send it to. Now, that's not storage, but it is transfer.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're still looking into it. If you have ideas, hit us up on Discord.
There are cool, did you know,
Tell me.
magnetic tapes, 2021, we still use them
Yes.
for deep storage.
That's right, because they store longer.
It's pretty cool.
They degrade
cheaper.
slower. It's
cheaper to
cheaper,
store
and
away.
it doesn't degrade as fast.
Yeah, but you can only like access it once per year.
Right.
They're like,
Well,
like,
they degrade
we're not going
when,
in there.
When you access them, they do degrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you, that guy Brad. Pitch idea for New York. No.
Yeah, he did it.
You know what? We only have like
shot.
a few more streams of this, so cherish me double reading.
No, he'll find a way to do it.
Oh, you can.
You will.
The software will double it up or something.
Thank you, Joseph. Love these streams. Y'all are awesome. How do you feel about using Imperial Assassins in lists? Thoughts on how to update them for 9th?
They do need an update for 9th.
They need a
They're
revamp.
flavorful and they're cool, but they fall just a little bit short of what they need to be able to do, I think. And a lot of codexes also have things that perform those roles now as they become more like multi-purpose, multi-function. So it's a number of those things, right? Like, compare the Vindicator to like Marine snipers in general, and you're like, he's okay, but he doesn't have the synergy with the rest of your army.
Yeah,
What
they need
if?
some new rules.
Would this be enough for the Vindicator? If you were never allowed to shoot him, would he be okay?
Like he was effectively untargetable unless you're within like 12 or something.
Right.
Let's start with
I
the
thought you were
crazy.
saying you were never allowed to use him
No,
to
no.
shoot. And I was like,
Let's start with the crazy.
He's about
Say
as good now.
You can literally never target him with a ranged weapon. Is that enough?
No. I mean, it's good because he'd sit on a backfield objective, but that's funny enough, that would be his use.
Right.
His use would be sitting on the objective, never even shooting.
correct.
Now, would it be reasonable for a Vindicator Assassin to one-shot the average character pretty reliably? Would that
No.
be reasonable?
No.
That becomes another
So
I think he should have
the premise is flawed.
he should have, in my
Yeah,
opinion,
I agree.
like a 35% chance to one-shot the average character. 35%.
That's tough.
like
Yeah.
slightly over 1 out of every 3 times.
Yeah.
And if you were willing to dump 2 CP into it, maybe you can up it to a 60% chance.
Whoa. But he gets the CP back for killing a guy. So it's really
No, maybe
only-
not. You know what I'm saying? Like there needs to be a cost to this. But but yeah, 60% chance if he's got a clear shot with 2 CP, I'm okay with that. Still 40% chance of failure, and you burn 2 CP,
That's a lot.
and you paid to bring him in the first place,
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I'm into that.
It's tough. It's tough. They do need a redesign, honestly, overall, which is funny because we've like had so many for them.
Yeah, we'll find a time to bring them.
Yeah, we'll take them for sure.
We'll definitely take them.
Like, they're not bad.
They're fun. All right, Bridger, what did we miss?
Chat caught me up. That guy Brad, I didn't double read. There were 2 similar super chats,
no.
and they were separated in the middle by Jerry, talking about Canadian tech priest. So,
Okay, so
thanks
let's go
again.
read it.
Thanks again, that guy Brad. Pitch idea for new Orc Codex, 1 CP strat at the end of the charge phase. If an Orc bike unit ended a charge, in engagement range, deal 1 mortal wound for each model in engagement range. So it's like guaranteed. It's like the Space Marine jetpack strat.
Which
except
that's
it's
on a
guaranteed.
4-up.
That's on a 4-up.
It's a 4-up.
Yeah. Isn't it a toughness roll-off? It's a 4-up?
Oh, it's a toughness roll-off now.
Now.
It used to be a 6-up.
Used to be a 6-up, yeah.
Yeah.
And then...
So it's good with like Inceptors because you're T5.
So this is a 1 CP strat for every bike that made it into engagement range. So just they're bulky, so you're not going to get that many. But you could have a 10-man bike squad, and you'd probably get like 6 or 7 into most combats.
Well, would your 2 ranks not count?
No, it's just the first rank.
They're not, Yeah.
You're eligible to fight in 2 ranks, but you're not in engagement range in 2 ranks.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that'd
be fine.
1 CP for up to 10 mortal wounds guaranteed is too much.
Yeah, but 10, you're not really going to get 10.
You could, especially because they're fast. They could charge up and around. You know, they could surround the unit.
Yeah.
The old base for the bikes is very narrow, and
That's true. I'm on wider bases now.
technically there's no like basing rules now. It's just like whatever you can still just whatever you bought it in.
You should not be able to spend 1 CP for 10 mortal wounds.
Naturally.
And bike squads go up to 15, I think.
Yeah. I mean,
So let's say I agree with you. 1 CP.
Cap it at 5. Problem solved.
Make it a 5-up or a 4-up or something.
No, just cap it at 5 mortal wounds. Done.
is eviscerating flyby 1 or 2 CP? Because that's basically 10 mortal wounds right there.
But it's not guaranteed. You roll off.
Is it also is that reasonable? Is an excellent question to ask.
It's reasonable because you have to be in a certain position. This is a new Drukhari. Well, it's an old Drukhari.
It's 2 CP.
It's
for
a
that big
Drukhari.
squad.
Yeah, you have to have a big squad. You have to move over a unit, and then it's on a 4-up, and it goes to 3 for infantry, or it's a 5-up.
It's a 5-up goes to 4 for infantry.
I think you could end up getting 0 there.
Yeah, of course. I would get 0.
So that's what I'm saying. With the bike, with the bikes, if you made it a 4-up,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. 1 CP, 4-up, I'm good with it.
Yeah, because then it's an average 5 mortal wounds, which I think is reasonable for 1
I agree.
CP as well.
So let's do it.
Alrighty, thank you, Joseph. Love these streams. You're all awesome.
Thank you.
How do you feel about using? Did we?
Yeah. Because remember, you moved on from this one already.
No, but no.
You melted his brain.
All right, thanks, Rowdy. And then also cool if a Nurgle. Wait, what? What is happening?
How you doing, Brian?
This
You know,
feels like
I'm
a
having a good time.
continuation, but there's no Rowdy anywhere nearby.
Okay.
Well, I'm just going to read it. Thanks, Rowdy. And then also cool if a Nurgle Psyker could heal a friendly unit with Smite, because life means death, and death means life to Nurgle. Long back reference.
Yeah.
So when they were saying Nurgle, you should be able to kill with healing. So like an apothecary goes up and he stabs you with a syringe, and then 3 poxwalkers die.
That's rad.
It's cool. It complicates things immensely.
It does.
Because which unit has that rule, right? I guess you're saying the
All
Nurgle unit
Nurgle.
would have the ability to say if you would heal, unless it's from a Nurgle source, because Nurgle have way to heal. Would that healing do damage? But it's a cool concept.
You would just get rid of those spells.
So Nurgle doesn't get to heal?
Nurgle has
They're
damage
like a
spells.
faction about healing and they don't get to heal?
They have damage spells that they can target themselves to heal or you to deal.
That doesn't sound complicated.
No, it's complicated, but that's
It's cool,
just what
though.
this person's proposing.
I think it could work. I think it could be fun. It's good.
All right, thanks. Ryuni.
Thank you.
Ryani. One of those.
Ryani.
Hey, Titans. Thanks for always giving me something to watch while I paint. My best friend watches with me and has 10,000 points worth of Custodes. Can you please ask her to calm down? No, not enough.
Well, hold on.
Collecting.
That's just like
10,000.
That's like 35 models.
Yeah.
So-
Keep going. To the moon.
My first batch of Custodes I painted was like 9,000 points.
Yes.
And I only really appreciated that it was 9,000 points after I tried to make my first list.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I bought a bunch of affordable stuff that I liked, because actually I was going to be playing 30K. My very first game with them was 30K, and they're way cheaper in 30K. Like the Cronus tanks were like 400 plus points in 8th, and they're like 90 points in,
Yeah.
in 30K.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a Rhino. They're a really strong Rhino, because Custodes were broken at the time. And yeah, so I had like a bunch of Cronus. I had 2 of them. I had all the Palace and all like Telemons, and I had like 4 of the Forge World Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
And I had all the stuff, all the Terminators, and it was like 8,000 points, but it was, only like 4,500 or something.
It's like one shelf.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually doesn't take up that much space, and it wasn't that much to paint. It was basically the same as painting like 3,000 points of Space Marines. So,
Yeah.
and that was just like the batch size I was used to painting. So don't chill out, paint more.
Paint more.
Yeah. You can never have too much Custodes. Thank you, Aaron. I'm building a new Space Marine army. Which chapter should I choose between Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and Space Wolves? It's got to be Blood Angels. Come on.
Okay, Space Wolves are the most fun to convert and paint, in my opinion.
Yep.
Blood Angels, I think, are a really cool, fun faction with a lot of personality. Great pick. The Dark Angels afford you some of the strongest options in the whole game right now. But I don't think it's as dynamic a playstyle as the Blood Angels.
It's not as dynamic a play style. at least not the most powerful builds of it.
Yeah.
Right. One of the cool things, though, to play devil's advocate is you do get a lot of diversity as far as like, do you want to go heavy into Ravenwing? Do you want to go into Deathwing?
It's almost a bigger commitment.
It's a bigger commitment for sure, and it also has cool conversions.
Yeah, really cool conversions. So the Blood Angels would be my favorite to play out of the 3. The Space Wolves would be my favorite to build and paint. Or you could play Chaos, I guess.
Hey, Brian's on the bandwagon. Thanks, Fang of Fate. Good luck, Titans. Leaving a message to watch on YouTube later. Any tips for Craft Worlds against Blood Angels? I struggle against 3-squad in Cursor Rush turn 1.
Okay.
Death Company and Sangard turn 2 keeps me boxed in my deployment zone.
Yeah.
That's a rough matchup.
That's a real rough matchup. I really wish that they hadn't changed Rangers. Because back in the day, you could at least be able to sort of counter deploy, put a unit of Rangers, they get there in Cursor Squad. But now there's just like, there's not much at all. So you really have to play back, play just to your speed advantage, which he's also fast, or they're also fast. But
Especially if they're up the board.
Yeah, but you're still faster. You can play centrally and also use your redeploys. That'd be a big thing you could do.
And Sangard can be shot. They don't have invulns most of the time.
Yep.
You know, you could doom and jinx them.
They're very susceptible to that kind of
you
stuff.
could put a ton of firepower into them, and they do go away. Yeah, they do go away. It's a rough matchup. We're talking about one of the strongest armies against kind of one of the weakest armies.
Yeah, no, it is. Your Shining Spears will be great because they can get in position and actually strike first, and that ridiculously high AP is perfect for things like Sangard.
Even a bunch of Shuriken going into a Sangard squad, if you have your spells up, will do the business.
Yeah, for sure.
You almost need to bait, like, you need to have, I would say, a decent amount of MSU, bait them out onto points, and then wait for them to bring, like, a big thing out, and then try and focus it down. Yeah. It's tough, because the Eldar are just so expensive that they just don't have enough assets to, like, they'll run out of steam just before that happens. Like, Eldar have the tools, but it's like, in my opinion, I'd be like 400 points short to make a good game of it.
100%.
But if I had that 400 points, I'd be like, I can really make you have to run for your money on that. But
agreed.
It's just not good enough.
Yeah, it's tough. Thank you, Samaltz. Hey, Titans, thanks for being the best 40K channel on YouTube. I won't stop until I have max units of everything gold for the Gold God.
Thank you. Yeah.
I hope this is the friend of that past person, because that is the perfect response.
It's so true.
Max units of everything. That's you can have unlimited troops.
Well,
2,000 points is generally the limit on the game, but...
So you're saying you should only have 2,000 points?
No, I'm saying you should have 2,000 points of sword and board, 2,000 points of spears, 2,000 points of Sagittarum,
and the Pyrite.
Pyrethite and Androsite. You got to get 2,000 points of each of those as well.
Okay.
So we're talking 10,000 points of troops here. At the minimum, that's where we start.
Yeah.
That's where the game starts to get interesting.
That's right. That's when a collection really starts to take shape.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Elliot. Hey, y'all. Getting into Deathwing with roughly 40 Terminators. What tips do you have against Deathguard with Morty, 60 Poxwalkers, and 2 Plagueburst Crawlers, and Necron Warrior spam? Those are 2 very different problems to solve.
Oof. Necron Warrior spam is tough. And when I play Dark Angels, my only real solution to them is the Inceptors. And this is leveraging Blast and leveraging Chapter Master full rerolls. We actually saw one of the very first Dark Angel games I played. I didn't have Chapter Master, and I had a -1 to hit, which could have been avoided, and we saw it's just not enough.
You just didn't quite.
It was just
like,
not
I lived by like 5 or 6 models.
Right.
And then I regenerated back up to like a squad of 12 or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
basically full.
Basically. Well, because he also resorbed and But yeah, it wasn't quite enough. So that's
but they can do it.
Absolutely. But you need, even if it's like a mega Deathwing army, you do need some shooting, right?
Well, no Deathwing army is complete without the Plasma Inceptors.
I mean,
if you're really trying to lose your friends, like, that's the one unit that'll do it.
One surefire way.
I have no friends.
It's the one quick way to lose all your friends.
What about Deathguard?
With Morty, Deathguard? I don't know. Can you...
The Plasma Inceptors work well, too.
Yes.
He's not that killy for you, though, right? Because he's only reeling 1s to wound.
I think you can lock him down.
You can just tackle him, you know?
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and you tank it.
The Poxwalkers is a lot, but that's where you shoot your Plasma Inceptors at them instead of Morty. It's a trap to shoot Morty. Your goal isn't to kill him. Just tie him up. You're way more durable than he can deal with. And then you blast Plasma Inceptor, pick up all those Poxwalkers, hold all the objectives, win the game.
And there is something to be said also about the Fist and Stormbolter Terminators, right?
Yep.
Actually, they're all the builds are good, right? The double lightning claws, the shield, and
Right.
the hammer. And this one is good because it gives you a ton of shots for clearing screens. I've been leaning away from it, but there's no reason why you can't bring them to
Yeah,
the screens.
I think you'd want to have some of the Stormbolters. I like Stormbolters.
I have 1 unit, so that's still 20 shots.
And there's the that you can come down and get +1 to hit on that one turn, right? Or no, it's something else. It's not +1 to hit because you can always get +1 to hit. It's some other benefit.
+1 to wound.
+1 to wound, right?
Which is cool.
Yeah, so you can have +1 to hit and wound on that turn.
And with Azrael, you can. No, you can't when they come in. Never mind.
Right.
Later on, he can put them into tactical, so
That's
you can
right.
always get that extra AP.
Yeah, it's great.
It's also worth mentioning with command squads, you will always have more assets to play with.
Yeah.
You can always play the trading game. And even if you're trading down in points, you're trading up in number of assets, so you'll still win that trading game.
Sure. So what we're saying, there's no surefire way. This is going to take a lot of practice at the table on what to trade with, but also knowing just how lethal Morty really is in that matchup and what you can feed to him.
Yeah. Those were all very advanced answers. That we
They are. They're fairly advanced because what you're talking about are some of the hardest matchups between some of the toughest armies, you know?
Yeah. All right, thanks, Nicholas. Love the new studio and content. As someone who loves getting into melee, my bloodlust can often bite me in the butt. Tips for harnessing my thirst for blood to win games.
Bridger, the inventor of ABC, who's learned that ABC, whilst always the right answer, is sometimes also the wrong answer.
Yeah, so the first thing you always want to do is almost never the thing you should do. You're like, yes, I want to do that. Great. All right, what's the second thing I want to do?
Yeah.
You think about it, you relish it. You're like, yes, charge my whole army. Feels great. Awesome. I lose next turn. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Second best thing.
challenge his mega hero with my little sergeant.
Right. So you always go with the second thing that you want to do. That's the right one.
Wow, this is an interesting look into your mind.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's the right thing to do, but I could believe that it could work. We have two polar opposites. Like Adrian is a person who won't charge with Gaskell, and
It was a bad play. It was a bad idea.
and Bridger will charge into an
Anything with anything.
impossible fight. So two different players. Adrian plays the mission aggressively,
Yeah.
and he's playing towards that. He's not playing towards does my unit fight? Can it fight? Can I kill this thing? That's not on your mind almost ever, right?
Yeah.
And Bridger's focused on what can I kill?
Yeah.
Who can die right now? I don't care what the toll I will have to pay for this.
Yeah.
I will kill right now.
Do you remember it was Blood Angels against Tyranids, and I took my Smash Captain, I put him in the middle of the board, and I was like, I'm going to charge your whole army. And you had to talk me down out of that. You were like, wait, you're just throwing him away. Why are you doing this? Good time.
But it's I brought a Smash Captain.
It's so cool.
He's going to
I wanna
smash.
smash.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, thanks, Melody. Is the Hive Fleet Titan paint scheme proprietary knowledge? Just wondering.
Oh.
No, it wasn't even something we came up with. It was literally an army I found on eBay that was already painted and in a scheme I really liked, but more than anything, it had the two giant bugs that I just wanted. Those are the models I wanted. And I talked to the person who painted it. I really thought he was a nice guy. I liked him. And so I decided to get it. And it was coincidence that it happened to be in our colors.
Yeah.
And I liked that. And I was like, cool, it's Hive Fleet Titan. And I commissioned him to do a bunch more. GW has taken forever to ship him models, which I know the pain of very well. But he's in Croatia, and I think there's even more delay for him. And,
with Brexit, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. He was actually suffering from that a little bit. And there were actually just the day before he shipped it, there was this massive earthquake in his country, which was crazy.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
Yeah, he was sending me pictures, and I was like, whoa. Because all these old brick buildings, so they really don't deal with being shaken too much.
Yeah.
But it was not proprietary. I don't even know the colors
Yeah, I was
involved.
going to say, we couldn't actually tell
We
you.
couldn't replicate it. I could ask him.
The next
because
super chat.
We will want to paint up a few things for Hive Fleet Titan ourselves.
For sure.
Because we don't always, if you just want one thing, you don't want to have to ship away to Croatia to get it,
All right, thanks again, Melody. As in paint recipe, like that even a Git could follow.
We'll find out. We'll find out because we want to know.
For sure. My guess is the green is Moot Green, and the light purple is Demonette skin. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, okay. I like the guess.
Yeah. You know what's the funny thing is? So SN Battle Reports, they also have a Hive Fleet Titan.
Yeah,
And this was
which we didn't know about.
complete coincidence. So we announced it, and Steven messaged me. He's like, oh, are you guys gonna get it done the same way as ours? And I was like, I don't know. Like, we'll see
What
what
do
it
you?
is.
I don't even know what you're talking
And
about.
their Hive Fleet Titan is actually almost a complete inverse of our
Oh,
Hive
yeah.
Fleet
Oh,
Titan.
that's cool,
It's
though.
purple and green, but in different places.
That's cool.
And so it's totally wild. So
That's
they're,
rad.
they're definitely related, though, for sure.
They're definitely related.
Yeah.
We should bring our Tyranids with us when we go there, just so we can put
Yeah.
them next to each other for a little
Amazing.
photo op.
Family reunion.
Thank you, Nonu. I hope I said that right. Brian, on your next Necron list, can you use triple pen list I came up with? Triple pen. What's the
Necron?
triple pen list, Brian?
What's a pen?
Pennsylvania.
Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Pen.
Pen.
Triple pen.
Triple Catan?
Oh, maybe. It's probably an autocorrect.
Yeah,
I'd
that's what I'm
guess.
trying to think. Was it an
Triple-
autocorrect? Because a triple Catan is a thing
I'll
people
bet it's
talk
triple
about.
Catan. Would you play a triple Catan list?
Of course I would.
All right.
I would feel so sad not having converted. Like at this point, I almost feel like I don't want to play any of the Catan until I've converted them to be as epic as the Void Dragon.
Yeah. Well, you can play the Void Dragon.
Because
he's
the
already
Void Dragon's
epic.
great, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I think would even just be cool is you do a 3D scan of like the Deceiver or whatever, the Nightbringer, or even just the Transcendent. Like take the Transcendent, do a 3D scan of him, and then just print him at like 2x size.
Only
Right?
2x? Let's go for 3.
Yeah, print him at 3x size.
Yeah.
You can add a bit more flair to him, but I think like that's a project I actually want to do.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is just like take a Transcendent Catan and just like 3x him,
Yeah, that'd be
but
cool.
keep the same model. I think it'd be really neat.
Cool.
I dig it. Oh, Penitent Engine. Maybe. No, that's not
It's
Necrons.
Necrons.
I don't know.
But cool, Pennant Engine, yeah.
Yeah?
Give them to me.
I was taking off my Necron list.
I feel like anytime the opponent has a machine in their army, the Necron should be able to hack it.
It's true.
So you should be able to ally in any machinery from any other faction into Necrons.
Oh, what?
Give it
It's
to
like
me.
orc stuff.
Most ridiculous.
No, not orcs, because the orc trucks don't actually have computers in them.
Not actually technology.
Yeah, it's not actually technology. In fact, when the robots try to interface with it, they
Yeah.
just die.
Yeah, that's right. It just blows their brains out.
That's right.
They could be a cool narrative campaign where Necrons get AdMech stuff and AdMech get Necron stuff.
Yeah,
And they just roll around like allied.
because AdMech does get Necron stuff.
Admech always gets Necron stuff.
Yeah,
That'd be cool. Be a cool book.
and there's even Space Marine using Necron technology.
Well, again,
Death Watch.
Death Watch.
Use the Hyperphase
Hyperphase
blades.
blade,
Yeah.
yeah. But again, speaking of orcs,
also
grab
heretical.
technology was invented literally by the orcs, and the Admech stole it from
Right.
them 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I'm just
And the
saying.
teleporters too.
And the teleporters, yep. That's orc technology.
All right. Thanks, Magnus did nothing wrong. I was super hyped about TE Assault Force. What's that?
Terminus Est.
Yes. When I
Until
first
I saw this
started,
game.
when I first started back in 5th, I played Deathguard. Back then,
Nice.
Typhus made cultist zombies for free, and I ran tons. I loved it. With this force, though, I'm struggling to find anti-tank or AP,
Yeah,
as it seems you are as well.
right.
Do you think maybe running Demon Prince, Termi, and Plague Marines with special weapons like Melta and even the Cleaver are the answer?
Yeah, so the first version of this list that was a little less memey had some Death Shroud in there. So you have a couple combat beat sticks. It's not the number one thing that this army suffered from is actually not the initial thing that I thought I would suffer from. It was the fact that I couldn't just take Poxwalkers and then put other things to solve those problems.
Right.
So that was actually quite difficult because yeah, like you can take plasma guns, I guess, and
Yeah.
you have some shooting, but all your shooting has to come from these like smaller weapons that aren't that interesting, right?
I personally, okay, I think we did the Poxwalker thing because we really, really wanted to. But the strongest way to play Terminus Est is with very few Poxwalkers, right? Like maybe 2 units, something like that. But the Bubonic Astartes is really where it shines, right? Like you can start deep striking and teleporting even regular Marines with flails and things like that.
Yeah.
And Deathguard, in a weird way, can kind of avoid having to worry about vehicles at range. There's not that many ranged vehicle armies that are going to be a huge problem for Deathguard. And the ones that are, you can really try to like teleport down onto them with your Death Shroud or whatever else and chop them up.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the deep striking the Bubonic Astartes is interesting. I'd probably do like 3 units of Poxwalkers.
Sure,
And
sure.
then,
But they're
you know,
just
3.
utility picks.
Yeah, and this is half of what we had in this game, right?
Yeah.
And that lets you take a bit of that.
Would you
fancy
still
tank.
take 3 20-man squads?
I kind of like them.
They're pretty good, but
I think 120 to bring back if you want.
Let's remember they're only 100 points for 20 guys.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you say it like that, it's pretty good.
It's just like 20 guys is harder to hide in certain circumstances than 10 guys. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
like you had so many Poxwalkers, they could not hide anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, if you keep scaling it back, when can you hide? 20, 10, 10, you can feed one out every turn. And the 20 is like, they have to really commit to killing.
Sure.
That's my thinking.
That's more of a traditional build. I'll often have like one unit of 20 and like maybe one or two like utility squads.
Yeah.
Which gets you to a more like traditional build. We didn't really get to see them in this game, but they're psychic powers. Really, really powerful abilities, right?
The Poxwalkers have psychic powers?
No, the Terminus Est.
The Terminus Est
that's a different tree, right?
Psychic tree.
Okay.
So they actually have a lot of utility, and I'd love to play around that more in the future.
I think also there's a thing you can do in a 40k list where you deliberately aren't good at one thing. Like you could say, I don't kill tanks.
Yeah.
My army doesn't suffer from tanks too badly. I just don't kill tanks at all.
Yeah.
And when you're not able to effectively kill a tank, it's not worth bringing 100 points of tank killing.
Agreed.
Right? Like,
exactly.
don't put plasmas and this and this and
I
this.
didn't even bother, right?
Yeah, so it's like, unless you're going to reliably threaten a tank, bring nothing that shoots a tank. And then just live with it. Make that an efficiency.
You had 3 tanks that, again, I killed them, but it wasn't really ever about killing them.
Yeah, you killed them because I was using them to engage.
Yeah.
So it's putting them up in your face.
It was about locking them down or just ignoring them a lot of the cases, right?
Because they weren't actually doing very much. Like, they were killing like 2, like 0 to 3 per shooting phase. Poxwalkers, like who cares?
And most tanks
it's
aren't
15 points.
That. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you don't care.
Can you put it in your mic pack, like, on the table or something?
Me?
You're cutting out a little bit.
I'm cutting out. Well, mine's over here, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Hello.
Cool. Oh, chat, let me know if that got better.
Hi, chat.
Alrighty, thank you. Trey, does the Mechanicus Defense Cohort, the Sans Scutari Army of Renown, have play in serious games? I think so.
Yeah. But it's what we sometimes get called like gatekeeper armies, where it's an army that will just straight defeat, I don't know, like 70% of the field, and then it'll have a tough match against 20% of the field, and then it'll have no win under any circumstances against 10% of the field. And so it's an army that would almost never win at a tournament, like at a GT.
Wouldn't win the whole event.
The whole event. It would come in like second place because there's always something that's its bane.
Third or fourth.
Whatever. There's always something that it's its bane. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But the matchups where you'll have so many matchups that are instant wins.
Yes.
Where nobody can do anything.
100% agree. It's just, it takes the most extreme units in this book and maxes out on them.
It pushes them.
You're giving up on a lot of your other utility, a huge amount of the Codex. So,
but you still get priest. You get robots and cataphrons.
You get the mean stuff.
You get all the mean stuff.
Yes.
Which is funny. Like these lists, in a weird way, I think they're kind of. I think everyone agrees they're kind of bad for the game because you're going to a tournament with no real ability to win, but you're making it for sure that everyone else is having a bad time.
You're just there to bully people.
Right?
Right.
It's like you'll go 5-1 or whatever, and those 5 games you didn't really even have to play, and that one game you never had a chance to play.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't play, and you took those 6 people and didn't give them play either.
I mean, it's like 8th edition Knights. Like, it's just, you take lists that are one-dimensional, they're skew lists.
Sure.
You're having a good time because you always do your thing. You have your one bad game, you write that off, but really you're just there to bully people. Like, you have 5 games where you bully people and 1 where you lose, therefore you don't win the tournament.
Yeah, and again, we're not calling you out. Like, if you have fun doing this, I'm not calling you out. I'm just trying to say that for me as a tournament player, I would avoid a list like this because I always want play. Even in my worst matchup, I want play.
Exactly. It's that flexibility. Yeah.
But we will play it.
I'm genuinely excited
and
about it.
I don't know how we're going to make a matchup for it. Because, if we let it do its thing, it'll win in 1 turn or 2 turns.
So brutal. Oh,
You know what I
my
mean?
goodness.
Because if we just we've done it before. We just bring a bunch of robots, and then they just win.
Yeah. The list I would love to see in this force is one that has lots of cataphrons. And really just plays that to the max. We can get that in the future once I get mine up, because we each have 9, we can run 18. Then it becomes interesting, right?
Because there are 3 woons, right?
There are 3 wounds.
And so sitting on an objective, -1 damage, that's...
I think it's cool. And it's more
And if
like
you take the breachers who actually fight on the point, you could take warlord traits where you reroll all your hits in combat, or is it wounds in combat? It's hits in combat. It's a warlord trait, so it's great.
Yeah, so we'll get it out for sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thanks, Michael. Need a supercut of the Variant Human Story. I'm fascinated by Bridger having an army of accidentally lobotomized word bearers. Have a good Friday.
Thank you.
I actually, I probably have forgotten a bunch of the story by now.
For sure.
It's a saga.
It is a saga.
It was like 2 to 5 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week.
Right.
For like 20 to 30
weeks. It's feature length.
It's long.
Yeah.
I would love, someone should do that. Someone should do it. That's all I'm saying.
It's a lot of hours, but if somebody in the community, or maybe a collaboration from the community
Yeah,
on
could be cool
Discord,
too.
maybe if people want to get together,
Yeah.
somebody will say, I'll take this game, somebody else will say, I'll take that game,
Cut it up.
cut it all together.
It would be epic.
That would be dope.
That'd be so cool.
And we would totally put it on the channel.
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
All right, thanks. Simon, do you think the base Marine chapters will be getting more dedicated units other than characters, Primaris Lightning Claw units for Raven Guard, etc.?
Oh, right.
That'd be cool. If each of them at least had one,
Yeah, they should.
do
There would be an outcry.
So Ultramarines have several.
As there has been before.
Ultramarines have several,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What else has a few? Like Fists don't have a unit, right? Do Iron Hands have a unit? They don't have a unit.
No.
We're not talking about the one character.
Right,
So
no.
they don't have a squad, right?
Raven Guard don't.
Templar have them.
Templars, yeah.
They
But
do
they're
have them.
like
But they have them.
they're like their
That's
own.
like saying Space Wolves
faction.
has their own. Yeah.
Right.
True, but they don't have their own
faction.
book right now.
That's true. That's true.
So what else? Like White Scars don't, right?
Nobody does.
So
Only
Salamanders
Ultramarines.
don't. So it's just Ultramarines. And they have what, like the Vicatrix, and they have the Tyrannic War Vets,
Yeah.
which are broken.
The
Big
meme
tricks.
bets. Yeah.
Yeah. The mean bets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. No, I think it'd be cool. You know.
You know what I want for the fists? Those big shield and sword guy or
Yes,
gun guys.
the
Oh, the
breachers.
breacher with the.
Breachers.
Wouldn't that be rad?
So
They're
cool.
super cool.
Yeah, that'd be so sick.
But then the Chaos has to get them too. The Iron Warriors.
They
have
do
get
not
them as
have
well.
to. I do not buy this.
No,
come
no,
on.
no.
They're so cool.
Because you have to like upkeep that kind of weaponry. They've moved on.
I could
That's
see,
like their MO. It's
Iron
like
Warriors?
kick down the door and like
They could have a
shoot
way-
with your shield.
That's what they could have like a cooler chaos version. That's like something different.
Yes.
I would like if they just
Like,
made all
The
the
shield
30
becomes a
suits.
part of them. Like their arm is like a slab of
Their
metal.
whole body is just a shield. They're
That'd be
just
cool.
They just stand there as a shield.
I think they should do the 30K, you know, the like first Terminators, like the first squad, all the special, like the Keshig Terminators for the White Scars and things like that.
Yeah.
That would be fun because they already have those models too.
It's cool, but like, yeah, you could just port them over.
Yeah.
But also, like, I wouldn't. It gets kind of boring if everyone just has their new Terminators. Wouldn't you rather have like the White Scars bikers and the Raven
Yeah.
Guard like cool?
So what would the
claw
bikers
guys?
be? Like maybe the big curved blades,
Yeah, totally. On
and then like they
Outriders?
have all have like attack birds and stuff. It'd be cool.
They all are just like dun, 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 dun.
It's actually you get a new model. They all make a flock of
A razor
birds,
wing.
and you like send out your flock.
It's a
of
razor
birds.
wing flock. So yeah, that's it. White Scars get razor wing flocks.
There we go.
That'd be dope.
All right, James.
All right, we solved it.
All right, thanks, James. Did you know the average name in the group is Brian? Bri from Bridger, Ian from Adrian, Brian. from Brian.
Whoa!
Look at that.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, now I know.
Thanks again, James, for the exact same super chat. Not gonna
You
get
know,
me that time.
I would say at least my playstyle. I am like a mixture between the two of you.
It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's how I was born.
You're basically our child.
Yeah, that's right.
You were formed knowing that we would be formed in such
No,
a
like
way.
a Dragon
yeah.
Ball Z fusion type thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
All right, thanks, Mike. We need a decision on a scale of 1 to 2. How angsty are Night Lords of the angsty Marines?
3
They are pretty angsty, you're right.
of the Marines.
Of the angsty Marines. So this is like Raven Guard,
Yeah.
Night Lords.
Well, hold on.
Well, he's saying 1 to 2 because it's between.
Because
those
there's two.
Yeah, there's
Which
two.
one's
Who's the most
So
angsty?
the Raven Guard are way angstier.
Oh no.
Because
Yes.
they're the screw-ups. Like,
Hold on. Who has officially modeled emo hair?
That's true. That's
I
true.
rest my case.
Yeah. Okay, I agree. Also, like, there's something about the fact that the Night Lords are like okay with it
Yeah.
that makes them not so angsty. They're just
That's
like,
right.
oh yeah, we're just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
totally
They
about
embraced
this.
it.
And the Raven Guard are like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. You
We solved
me.
it.
Yeah.
all right, thanks, Christopher. Adrian, thanks for the great breakdown on why 1250 Deathwing is worth taking.
No problem.
I was hemming and hawing because I forgot the Dark Angel strat. Question, Brian, how many of Adrian's catchphrases can you mimic in 15 seconds?
What?
When do I start the timer?
I don't. We use the same catchphrases.
Oh, I don't know. There's some pretty classic.
Okay, give me an Adrian catchphrase.
Well, I can't just I can't feed them
Don't
to you.
just tell me the catchphrase and then I'll try to imitate it. I don't know how to do an Adrian impression.
All right. Well, you started doing bloop because Adrian does. What do you do?
What do I do?
You started doing bloop. You go bloop 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 because Adrian said he has some other onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
What is it? No, not that. Although that is a meme that we have recorded forever. I don't know. There's a lot of Adrianisms.
Yeah, I don't know. I also, they're my isms, and I've instantly forgotten all of them. So.
Well, they're instinctual to you.
Yeah,
they're not like an active.
They're bred
thought.
in.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
You're not like it's been 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Time for another.
Time to roll another one.
An alarm goes off.
Yeah, you hit the button, it randomizes. You have like a magic 8-ball,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, I don't know how you do it, but
Just like that.
all right.
It's true. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we'll have to go through. We'll have to go through Adrian poses.
Listen, I'll have to work on them.
You will.
Clearly.
Apparently.
You study up in the Adrian Poses channel. We have full with audio videos now for you to study.
For sure.
We'll get
It's
there.
quite a repository.
For those of you who don't know, that's in our Discord where we have tons of memes, and one of the channels is entirely dedicated to Adrian poses.
That's right.
It's amazing.
Thank you, Thomas. Three Amigos, think your studio is fantastic. When you play at your level, what is your favorite style choice for your respective original army? Karen Dross for me.
When we say style, we're like play style we're talking about?
I assume so.
I'm not actually sure.
And
Because I don't know what
original
Karen Dross is.
Can I see how it's written?
Karandras.
Yeah, so that's the Striking Scorpion Phoenix Lord.
Oh.
So that's why I had to see it written. I mean,
Oh, style choice, like you pick a model. And that's like your style pick. Right? So at our play, our level of play, at our caliber of play, it is a lot more rare for players to like
have a style pick
that's like, I brought this terrible thing because I like it. And mine is Trajan.
I regularly bring terrible things that I love.
Competitively?
Yeah, sure. But I will make sure that it's not so terrible that it is hurting my chances. And there's a funny thing that can happen where a lot of people get it in their head that there's only one good list. That like, this list won the last GT, it's the only viable list in that book. And any deviation from that list is you being foolish. That is not ever true. And sometimes I'm like, being crazy like a fox. It's like, you got this model and people are like, why are you taking that one model? I'm like, because it does this crazy thing and it gives me a utility. And that's sometimes those crazy models that you like, people don't see them that often. They're not as prepared. You can throw them off their game plan a little bit. And you can do something that isn't normally done. And so when I usually am looking for a model that I love, I like it to be wacky in a way that's like not your average everyday, like it's not just more of the same. And then it's bad. It can be bad, but it can be bad in a way that is actually useful. Yeah,
I totally agree. For me, it was, I guess I'd say Gaz, but it was Goths in general.
Right.
I played Goths through all of my competitive play.
Yeah.
Even when Evil Sons were kind of the go-to.
Right.
And it was, and I don't think it was strictly just because it was something I liked. I actually really thought it was powerful and interesting in the way that threw people off. So for me, it was definitely that. I stuck with it. I think I tried one tournament with Evil Sons. I was like, it's good, but like it's not for me.
Right.
I'm going back to Gaz.
Because you liked having, Gaz was like always pretty good.
He was always great, and in some ways, I'm not going to say he's better than he is now, but he was untargetable.
Yeah.
So you had this amazing beat stick that can come in, and again, remember, there was no biggest boss. So he was like the only guy with the 4+ invuln.
Right.
He gives all the extra attacks and throttling, and then on top of that, the Scarboys.
The Scarboys, to get that strength 5,
and
right?
you pick that at the table.
Yeah.
So depending on a matchup.
And boys were actually lethal, because a lot of things had 1 wound is, again, not as much armor save.
Exactly.
It was good.
So it gave me different tech ups, especially when like demons were at their height, right?
Right.
It's like,
you could shoot through demons.
30 plague bearers. Oh my, I had 200
That was
attacks.
the answer to that army.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like orcs
100%.
were the way to do it.
And I'd fight them all the time.
Yeah.
Wow, remember when Plague Bearers were scary?
Right?
Yeah,
What
they
a
were,
time.
as a Tau player, they were terrifying, and yet I won every single competitive match against them because of luck.
That's not how
He is very lucky.
No, like I've been unlucky, but in a lot of those matches, it mattered a lot going first because they couldn't get their miasma up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I could really punish the squad for going first. And a lot of times they were bold and they deployed on the line, so I could carry on turn 1 and re-roll my whole army into you. And I would wipe one squad and get the other squad to like 19.
Yeah.
So then in the next turn, I had no minuses on them, or at the most -1, and I could counter that with a +1. So I had that happen a lot of times where I just got first and neutered the army. So I think one of the few games I ever lost was our very first stream game against you, because you regenerated in every squad virtually every time. And so I'd take a squad to 17 and you'd take it back up to 22. And the Tau just cannot survive that, you know?
Brian, you clearly just didn't count on me rolling once.
That's right. We both discovered our strengths then.
Early on.
But yeah, and actually going back to like the bad picks that I used to do. For instance, I used to take hazard suits back when nobody took hazard suits.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because they were way overpriced. But I would like stick them at the front, and people would charge them, and they're -2 to charge.
Yep.
So my whole army would overwatch, and then you'd fail the charge.
Oof, they were so frustrating to play against.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there were individual units with 2 drones attached as well.
4 drones attached.
So it was like,
Yeah.
it was so
That's gross.
obnoxious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't afford to put anything into them. Even though they weren't worth their points,
Right.
they became worth their points because it took so much to kill them.
Exactly.
It was good.
All right, thanks, Tyler. Drukhari now have Real Space Raid. What are your speculations on mixed cultures for orcs? Maybe if your army includes Gaz, you can dish out marks.
Oh, interesting. So I think Gaz is the only exception in that army.
Agreed.
Because generally speaking, like the Drukhari have a history of having these 3 sub-factions and weaving them into the game.
And working together, yeah.
Working together, but orcs don't, frankly. And so
That's right.
I don't think it'll be a thing unless they choose to with Gaz, because that's always been his thing. He gives +1 attack
It's the Great
to
Wag.
everyone.
It's everyone together.
It's the Great Wag, exactly. But that'd be the only thing.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
I want to see that more often where that supreme leader, supreme commander, does a better job of leading the whole army rather than just their one sub-faction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, James Workshop. Working on my Necrons collection. How do you feel about the Nightbringer, Lich Guard, or Praetorians? Do I need 4 boxes of that kit? Is the Silent King a must-have?
All right.
It's good questions. What do we think of the Nightbringer?
He's good.
He's so good that you should not play him most of the time.
It's true.
Um,
Unless you're going to the tournament.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a funny way to say it.
He's good at a tournament, but like he's so good that he'll dominate your games. Your friends might not have answers to him all the time,
Yep.
and he'll become a crutch for you in a way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. What do we think of Lich Guard Praetorians?
Lich Guard all day, baby.
Yeah, Lich Guard are
core.
Lich Guard are good because they're core. Both the staff loadout and the shield loadout are both amazing, and they both offer you something really unique.
Yeah.
I know most people lean towards the sword because they love the durability. I already have durability in my Necron army.
The Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, I don't feel like that's the thing I'm missing. I'm missing something that can reliably damage 2.
Yep.
And so I go staff all day. That's my take. But I know a lot of really smart players go for the shield. So good for them. Go for that.
Yeah.
Praetorians, also amazing. You can use them as the same thing. Now, they're not core, but that just means that they can be more independent.
Yeah, which has always kind of been their role, right? They're faster, they jump up there, they're a threat.
They have fly.
Yeah, they have fly.
Which is rare for the army.
It is.
So every time I brought them, they've pretty much crushed.
They're so scary.
Right?
They're so scary.
But they also die very easily if you're not careful.
Yes,
And,
which has also happened.
Huge liability.
Yeah.
Do you need 4 boxes of that kit? I don't think so.
Well, you only get 5 in a box.
Yeah.
So if
Do you need 20?
Yeah. Well, I have 20.
But you want 20 in every list.
No. You
I
want
think often you want 10.
Yes, but if your collection owns 10 of each, then you would be able to
All right, there you
mix
go.
and match. And if you really wanted to be thrifty, you could work really hard on magnetizing your shield and sword, and it's not easy though.
Well, because the staff is like 2 hands
both
and
hands.
1.
Yeah, it's not easy, but they have at least they have a big torso, big chassis
to hide.
Plausible.
So the magnets are a bit easier than like a marine.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of work, but it would save you some money and some painting. And is the Silent King a must?
must-have.
It's a must for your collection. Like
That's a good
absolutely.
answer.
It's a must-have for your collection.
Just like the Void Dragon.
Yeah, the
for your
Void Dragon
collection.
is a really great model for your collection too.
Absolutely.
And
of course,
he's great on
and the
table.
Silent King, of course, makes the Praetorians more interesting as well, right? So
Yeah.
if you're into one of those, that can also help you decide how you're going to be building towards, right?
True.
All right. Thanks, Jumpilapil.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, nailed that one. Thoughts on starting a GSC army right now, or should I wait? If I start, any must-haves for an army?
Such a
Well,
sad state this army is in.
Yeah, it's a
I
sad
would
state.
wait.
The smart thing is to wait,
Yeah, I would
but
wait.
also, I'll tell you what, it's such a massive, massive army that if you were to today, thank you, this is a wunderbar, today start building, painting, collecting Gene Stealer Colts, it's such a massive project. If the book came out next month, you'd be struggling to be ready in time. So I think if you're inspired, go for it. Just start collecting them. Don't expect too much out of it now, because you also it's a really expensive army, to be honest, right? So I think go for it now, but knowing you're not really truly going to play it for a while. What would you get if you weren't starting GC? You know,
Acolytes, man.
Acolytes all day.
Get all the characters
Yep.
and get acolytes.
Absolutely.
I'd also get jackals. I love jackals.
They're so cool. And all of these things have been kind of evergreen in the Codex ever since its launch a few years ago. So they're great now, and you can't really go wrong in the future. It would be my guess. So there you go. It's such a fun model line. Ugh.
I think it would be a crime if when the Codex came out, Acolytes were not good.
Yeah, it would be.
Right? So I'm not saying they're incapable of committing that crime.
That would upset a lot of people.
But, you know, it should be a fairly safe bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really hope they make pure strains good.
Oh, pure strains.
For once, yeah.
And aberrants. My 30 aberrants are really.
That's
dusty.
true.
They had a time in the sun though.
They had a great time in the sun, and it was amazing.
It was a little too sunny.
Gene Stealers, I feel like pure strains in GSC have never.
So
No, they're just worse.
in 7th edition,
Were they good?
so aberrants didn't exist.
Right.
Half of the line didn't exist at the time, and they were interesting, and they could do more stuff. But that was it, and that was actually a short time. There was less than a year. Like GSC is constantly being caught in this like vicious cycle. So hopefully, they're not too late in this
hopefully
edition.
they're not at the end of this edition. Yeah.
And just in time for 10th edition.
Yeah.
All right, thanks Magnus did nothing wrong. After the great brainstorming we had for casting the HBO miniseries for the Horus Heresy, now you dudes have to decide the style: CGI by Sayama, live action, or hybrid.
Oh, it's definitely. Okay, here's the thing. If live action would be the coolest way to go,
It has to be hybrid.
but it would
though.
be extremely expensive.
Well,
right?
you can't actually live action. Like you can't. We're gonna have like Star Wars-esque like models in space. Would that be cooler than CGI?
Hold on.
for
When
those
we say
scenes?
live action, Bridger, it still is on a set in Hollywood. You don't actually have to be in
No, I'm
space.
saying like Star Wars-esque model spaceships on a set.
Yeah.
Versus, would that be cooler
Yes.
than CGI
Yes.
for just those scenes?
Yeah. It would be cooler to do it live action with like Star Wars style budget. The problem is the scope is bigger, right? Star Wars is actually a fairly small story, right? It might take place in the galaxy, but it's a fairly small story.
Right.
And it was written to be a movie. It was written around the constraints of the sets and the places
point.
and things like that. This was not written with any of these constraints. It's wild, man.
It was totally wild.
So live
CGI's
action,
got that copy-paste button
right?
to make 1,000 spaceships.
CG would allow them to really explore it to its depth. And if they had like a really artistic firm take it on, like the people who did Into the Spider-Verse, you know, like a firm who really wants to like get rich with it and do something cool, because, you know, you've seen some of those drawings where they explore like what going into the warp actually looks like.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can really bring that to life in a CG movie. I think there could be so much good stuff there.
So hybrid. I think we've settled on hybrid.
No, yeah, sure. Hybrid doesn't make sense because live action always has to have CG. There's no such thing
That's what I
as
was
not.
going to say.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's.
any modern film.
But
is
when we
a
say
hybrid.
live action, we're saying CG is obviously there.
I think like
There's no way.
You mean
like
100%
Firefly is live action. They just
With
make
tons
it
of CG.
small.
With
They
CG.
just,
with
like,
tons of
make it-
CG.
Yeah.
Like even a matte painting is CG, and there's matte paintings everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm.
Hold on. So this movie with 100% practical effects would also be
Would be
amazing.
ridiculous. It would be like a C-tier movie.
It would be so good.
It would be movies that like you laugh at. It's like a Sharknado.
They already have the miniatures. I mean, come on. You could be like, and here's the Bastion. Put a stick of dynamite.
It's just like miniatures on a stick fighting each other.
Hey man, I'm just saying. If you wanted to have no CGI, that's how you do it.
All right, I'll take any of them.
All
Truth be
right.
told, we'll take anything.
Thanks, Jaden. Hey, Titans. Love the new studio. Quick question for you. What would you all think of a Scion army that has 18 plasma guns, 12 multi-meltas, and 5 Valkyries? I would think that's too many Valkyries.
No, it's
Never.
illegal. It's a legal number because
Yeah.
you take them in squadrons.
Uh-huh.
That sounds like the only number to take.
Listen, what would I think about that army? I would think that you are a person of taste,
That's right.
and I appreciate what you're going for here. I like it.
It's gonna punch super hard and then get punched super hard back, but you know, it's really cool.
But you're still the one who came in style.
It's so awesome.
You know,
Yeah.
you fly out the same way you flew in on all those Valkyries, and it's good.
Well, I don't know. I think several of those Valkyries will be dead.
Well, they're alive again in your next game, and you keep making your plane noises in your next game. You'll be fine. Yeah.
All right, sitting up over here.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Listen, it's fun. Like I said, we have the Scions coming. Hopefully, I think next week,
How many
And-
Valkyries do we have coming?
Only 3.
A
Boo.
reasonable number.
So it's 3 Valkyries, I think 5 Toroks, and
Toroks are cool.
Toroks are cool. Yeah,
Oh, I can't wait to. Oh my god,
it's gonna be fun.
that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be great.
Something just totally different and fresh.
And it's
you
like 80 Scion infantry.
know? Oh my god,
That's a lot.
It's
gonna
a
be
lot.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, thanks again. Magnus did nothing wrong. Hear me out. 3 of all of the faded variants, so 15,
Oh jeez.
3 by 6 man Death Shroud, and whatever else, Terminus Est.
Yeah, so like I said, I almost went that route, and I was like, let's just do. I was gonna bring 15 Death Shroud. I actually wrote the.
Why are the
list.
Death Shrouds so good in Terminus Est?
They're just cool.
Why? What do they get?
It's just flavorful.
Oh, I see.
They get nothing.
Well, in this list, they have 15 characters to protect.
That's true. The characters would, that's a lot of flame boys.
That's a
3.
lot of assassinate points, is really what I'm thinking. That you got to keep alive.
Yeah, you gotta kill this Death Shroud first, though.
Right.
But it's so many assassinate points they can never get them all. So you're really,
That's right. You're never gonna get all 60.
yeah, you'll never get all these assassinate points. So I win.
That's right. That's right.
I think
Weird.
as mean as it is, like taking 2 flame boys, not crazy.
No, of course it's not crazy.
But taking 2 of almost any of the other ones is crazy. Because you can't tally man for 2.
no.
Imagine bringing 3 Tallymans.
You can give 3 units +1 to hit in shooting.
Give your Death Shroud +1 to hit and shooting.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
good.
didn't even get to do that. That was one of the reasons I wanted to take Death Shroud. So they have another strat in Terminus Est
Okay.
that lets you shoot into combat as long as it's in a unit. The unit's engaged with Poxwalkers,
Oh.
and you just
you
don't
just
care.
throw your little
that's
flamers.
But every miss or every 1 or something would go into a Poxwalker.
Yeah.
But your
but
flamer's
your
auto
flamer
hit.
is auto
You're
hit.
just
Very
like torching. I was like, oh, that's awesome. So
That's neat.
that's why you.
I dislike the abuse of that, where you're using flamers,
Yeah.
because it goes against. I loved the
know.
narrative image. I think flamers should just hit both of you guaranteed. You both get hit every time.
You can shoot a flamer, but all the Poxwalkers die.
Yeah. I like
Not
it.
all- no, it's just like
No, all of them.
they get hit as much as the enemy does.
Think of it. They're plague
Flamers are indiscriminate.
No, they're plague spurters. So
Yeah.
it's just
Okay,
plague stuff.
Okay.
That's true. They just shoot like plague goo.
All right.
Yeah.
You've changed my mind.
It's just a bath.
I'm on board again.
Yeah.
You should get Poxwalkers back.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
That
you.
used to be the way that there was strats that did that, right?
Yep.
Thank you, Joseph. Question on fight last and charge. Rare rules. Quote, if a unit is under the effect of a rule that allows it to fight first, end quote. Section on charges. Quote, charging units fight first, end quote. Isn't that a rule to fight first? Nope,
No. Do you want to give any more color to that?
not really. We've done this like 9 or 10 times, and we're to the point where people just disagree with us on, like, we're just disagreeing on the interpretation.
So here's
We
ho-
can't resolve that.
yeah, okay. So what we won't necessarily argue is that it sounds like it could be something that fights first. I agree that this is a very plausible interpretation that you've got here. And just to clarify, the idea is charging count as you having an ability that lets you fight first, right? Is it the same thing? We're saying no. And we say that partly because when we read the rules, that's our understanding. Number 2, we say that because the competitive community, which means most of the TOs, the people who run events, and the top tier players all have universally agreed that that's not the way it works. And any contacts that we have with Games Workshop have also concurred with that assessment. Now, that doesn't mean that the way it's written could not, in a valid way, be interpreted some other way. It just means that that's how Warhammer generally makes decisions like this, is on some broad consensus. So we follow that broad consensus.
Yeah, well said.
There's also like some context, and I know this is probably just going to dig the hole deeper.
Sure.
There is some context in previous editions. I know a lot of people want to say, just look at the edition you're in because you could be misled by the context, but charging has not been fight first. Ever, right?
Sure.
So like, let's leave it
Yeah,
there.
chargers do often fight first,
They often
but they do not have fight
can
first.
be selected to
for
fight
Yeah,
first.
yeah. I know it's tricky, and this is such a complicated part of the game that they'd like to imagine it's easy,
Yeah.
but it's not.
So complicated.
And
Well, it
it's
has
more
to be.
complicated. It does have to be because
yeah.
they don't have they're creating like stacking effects,
Right.
and lots can go wrong there, right?
It's like it's a binary system that suddenly has like 4 or 5 states that actually can exist
Right.
in.
Yeah.
So again, this is why the tiered initiative system would be good.
And one of the things
Yes.
they had done wrong is they have so many abilities with different names.
Yeah.
And not only different names, but they've worded them differently. Like this one cannot be selected until,
Right.
or this one must fight after whatever.
And they've tried to like retroactively fix that in the core rulebook, which actually works. If you truly understand how that is written, it actually works. But it still also creates more.
Right. Because in 8th edition, there was only 2 models, to my knowledge, that truly had a fight last because they were worded in a particular way. Right? It was the Armor of Rust and then the Flame Boy.
And Catalyst as well. Not Catalyst, Paroxysm.
Oh, Paroxysm had it as well, where you couldn't be selected to fight until all other people. Right. But it wasn't clear whether you could interrupt with that, right? Because does that count as selection or whatever?
Right.
But they've clarified all of that now for 9th edition.
Yeah. Alrighty, thanks, Aaron. I'm paying $5 to tell Bridger his mic is borked. Thank you, Aaron. That was like a long time ago. That was when I put it up here and it got fixed.
Well, I hope it works. You know, we use these mics. They're pretty good, but they're not perfect. You know.
Well, I mean, there's like a lot of physical things between me and the...
Yeah. 50 feet to the receiver. It could be that. It also, you know, these wires sometimes have been known to be a little finicky and things like that. So we keep buying new ones. They're really expensive.
They're not cheap.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars per mic. And we've bought them several times over. I don't know. Well, we could try other ones, but there's always going to be problems.
No, I think these are good. It's just like we need not direct line of sight at this distance, but close to direct line of sight at this distance.
It's really hard to troubleshoot because when we check, the issues are almost never there when we check.
Well,
right?
you remember even we had actually, like you said, bought some more of these mics, and some of the other problems were not, it wasn't actually busted. It was a different problem.
Sure.
So those mics actually worked the whole time.
There's so many layers to these tech problems.
Yeah.
Isolating the problem,
It's hard to figure out what's wrong.
Yeah, isolating which piece intermittently doesn't work is almost impossible.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's intermittent, we can't.
Yeah.
That's right.
Unless we just test for 24 hours. All right, thanks, Luis. Evening, fellas. Was having a discussion with my buddy. Do vehicles block line of sight? Models do. That's your question.
Everything blocks line of sight.
Everything.
Yes, and vehicles, some vehicles in particular, like rhinos, famously can be used intentionally to block line of sight. This even has a name.
Yeah, it's rhino sniping.
Rhino sniping or rhinoscoping. Yeah. All of those because the model goes all the way to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big thing, right? Because many of the models, like you can get a little bit underneath, like the repulsor. It's like
any of the hover vehicles, all hover, right?
You have just a sliver you can see underneath, but the rhinos, it's actually completely solid.
And even though you can't get down to eye level to actually check, everyone just accepts that there's a hole there.
Yeah.
Even though, funny enough, in a lot of circumstances, you might not be able to see.
Yeah.
Because of whatever, everyone just accepts that there's a hole at the bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I remember somebody tried to argue like they had an impulsor type vehicle. I think it was a repulsor, but they'd put a ton of grass on the base, so it was like actually covered. And they're like, you can't see under that. And I'm like,
are you telling me that you monitor advantage?
Like, what are you saying?
Would you like to call it to you over here and say that again? I don't think so.
I'm like, I don't know if you met me. I can find line of sight.
So yeah, you have to be able to get true line of sight, which means a vehicle can absolutely block. It's a big deal.
Yes, and even unsurprisingly, like big models that have holes in them, when they're layered together, right, can actually genuinely block. I had
the Convergence of Dominion, Brian.
Sure. If you had 3 of them, like with 1 here and like 2 on the side, and they were covering each other's gap, you'd have a space big enough to fit like 1 Space Marine character behind.
Yeah.
From a very small angle.
Blocks line of sight.
But it does block line of sight.
But I've even step to the side.
I've even had Riptides where Riptides are not actually chunky. They have huge openings under their like legs. But I had 3 of them stacked with like some commanders, and it was actually like 20 drones were fully hidden behind. The person was like, wait, I actually can't see anything. And I was like, yes! It's not intentional, but I was really pleased.
That's funny.
All right, thanks, Megan. Why do Zoanthropes need line of sight to cast psychic powers like they don't even have eyeballs? This is Megan, Zach's wife. Hi, Megan.
Hey.
This makes no sense.
This is true.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Well, you see, Brian, the warp, it's a conduit, right? It's a medium through which for you to project your mind.
Go on.
Some parts of that medium are denser, like walls.
Yeah, okay.
And so you can't project as far. Therefore, that's why.
Okay, well, my theory,
that's the best I got.
what my theory presupposes is what if their whole body is an eyeball?
That's right.
And our prejudice as humans just can't let us recognize it for what it is. It is a membrane by which they let light in to see, and that's why they don't have discrete eyes because they are just an eye.
Yeah.
The problem with that, though, is that the hive mind just trades sensory input between a bunch of... Like, all the bugs have each other's senses. They know, oh, there's a thing over there because that guy saw it.
But the
So why can't he
neurothrope
smite
is okay, so what you don't know about the neurothrope is it's the only one with like a college degree.
Okay.
And so it's like by far the most stuck up out of all of them. And so yeah, the hive mind's telling it like I can see a Space Marine person there. And it's like, I don't see that. I'm the smartest one here. And they're like, no, I see it. And they're like, do you have a college degree? No. So I can't see it, no power.
There you go.
That's a good narrative. I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Thanks again. Anything.
Thanks again, Megan. Also, say hi to Zach for me. Hi, Zach.
Yo, what's up, Zach?
I wonder if they're still here. It was like...
Listen, I demand nothing but everyone's full
100% attention as we eat candy bars and riff off of Warhammer lore. And by the way, Zach is our terrain maker, so
yeah.
He is.
Shout out to him.
Thank you, Sullivan Rex. Steve 1. So what psychic power would you be? What is the casting cost and why? Just to reiterate, these are the two people who play every week, and whoever loses has to super chat for the other one.
What happens when a draw?
Fun game. Maybe they both super chat? I don't know.
I like that better than none of them super chat. Well, congrats, Steve. What was the question again?
What psychic power do we want to be? What's the casting
What
cost?
do we want to be?
You get to like make up a psychic power, and you are that.
Or you could take one that exists, I think.
I think I want to take one that exists.
Well, they also ask, what is the casting cost and why? I think you're inventing a psychic power.
Okay, okay.
All right. Let's think about this.
Okay, Bridger, what do you got?
I want to be the psychic power that grows an eyeball on the neurothrope.
Yeah, yeah.
And it goes off only on an 11 or higher.
But it comes with a baggie of googly eyes.
Yes.
And you literally have to stick it on.
Glue them on.
And over the game, you add more eyes.
It's true.
And it's permanent. It's like between your games, your neurothrope
Your opponent actually
levels
gets
up.
to glue it on.
Yeah,
that's true.
But
true.
when the
Everyone knows
neurothrope dies, you have to smash the model.
What's the...
I imagine it was more like an anti thing. Like when it dies, your opponent gets all the googly eyes glued onto one of their models.
Oh, what if Warhammer
so
had
wait, they
anti-
don't want to kill it?
I mean,
Because then you just get to like dump the googly eyes and like glitter
you don't
all
like
over
googly
there.
eyes? What's wrong with you?
I mean, kinda.
Our friend Nick would actually use googly eyes as wound counters for his nids. So
Really?
there's just like googly eyes everywhere.
That's wild.
Adrian got me excited here.
Oh,
There used to be a very old mechanic called Ante in Magic where you would put a
Yes,
card as your
you'd
bet.
ante it up.
Yep.
But there were ways to interact with antes. It was a zone that you could swap between with certain cards. And I want a psychic power. We're bringing antes to 40k.
It forces someone to ante.
And no, I want a psychic power that swaps the psyker with your ante model, which is what a lot of those cards did. You would put a great card in ante, and your opponent would be like, I'm going to get that great card.
Yeah.
And you just swap them, and now
was
you have the great
so
card on the
mean.
battlefield.
That's so mean.
So I would do that. I would swap
Okay,
my
I'm going to
psyker
also
with the
go
ante
from
model.
Magic. Do you know the unglued card that you rip up and throw on the battlefield?
yeah.
And
Chaos
it kills. Yeah, it's a Chaos Orb. That's right. So mine is you basically have to crush the model in your hands.
Sprinkle it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an incredibly spiky and painful model too.
Oh yeah.
It's a Warhammer model.
Oh yeah. You will bleed.
You will bleed.
It's definitely, you know what? Maybe it's not a psychic power. Maybe it is a corn ability.
It's a corn ability. This is
Yeah.
actually a new mechanic.
Yeah, it's a new mechanic. It's like their rituals.
They said, it's not fair that corn doesn't get to participate in that part.
So the casting cost is your dignity
Your blood.
and your blood and your model. It's really a high casting value.
It's quite effective.
It's
Yeah.
in dollars, not...
Yeah.
It's not pips on dice. It's in dollars.
It's in
Yeah, that's
dollars
right.
in your soul. I like that.
That was a great answer. Alrighty, thanks again, Luis. Wolfguard Terminators, using them as Deathwing, based on the Alexis Nebula battle, using a mix of colors from both armies. Token of respect, yay or nay?
I think it could be done in a cool way.
Totally.
I think it could be, honestly.
Yeah.
So, more power to you. Like, the one thing is, are you going to show up at the table and are they going to be like, that's a really cool conversion, I like that? Or are they going to be like, oh, so you're using this model as this model? Just ask yourself that question.
Is it a conversion or a count size?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't
Right?
say I've ever met somebody who had a narrative behind a thing where I said no. If you have a story and you were like, this is why this is this way, and it's clear that you're not making it up because you're going to be passionate about the story. You're like, these are from this thing, and they were in this battle, and that's why I painted them this way.
Yeah.
And if you look at this model right here, he has this thing because of this battle. Like, cool, great. Like, we're going to have a fun game.
Good to know.
Right? Like,
He's an easy mark.
You
Yeah,
cannot
it's
fake
so
that
easy.
stuff. You can't fake it. That's hard to fake.
You can't fake being a super nerd while playing Warhammer. Okay. I don't know how much you have to try on that one.
Do you remember the darkness that was the Chaplain Dreadnoughts, though?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just always liked Chaplain Dreads, and this guy, he just felt like a Chaplain, so I put a skull on
that's
him. Now he's a Chaplain Dread, and you're
Super
like,
transparent. They're always super obvious when they do that.
but it's a narrative that they made for their model.
No, that's not a... You know when you see it, you know?
That I agree with.
This one was a contemptor, but he's a really preachy contemptor.
Yeah, let me tell you, the stories you can tell me about this guy.
Yeah, I won't bore you with them, but
But, you believe me? And Bridget's
no,
like, oh yeah,
I think you could use any model almost to convert into any other model. If you put the work in, it's going to be great.
100%.
Yeah, go for it.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thanks Earth. I know you don't like it, but I would suggest at least trying 5-man Plague Marine squads with 2 plasma and 1 launcher. They are surprisingly effective.
Yeah, for sure. It's expensive, and you have to play them. No, it's not that aggressive.
I own a bunch of plasma.
Yeah, but they always like do more than they should when you play them.
Good. So maybe I'll take some shooty Plague Marines next time.
There you go.
You know why they do well though, Adrian?
Why?
Because he takes them. They couldn't do well if you didn't take them.
Yeah,
That's true.
you miss 100% of the shots
They're
you don't take.
great in my.
Listen, that's Canadian
Wayne
quote.
Gretzky, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
I have them in my Crusade army. I have a
Okay.
big block of 3-legged shooty Marines.
Do they work?
Yeah, they're good.
Well, there you go.
Alrighty, thanks again, Sullivan Rex. It was a double header, so if the Nids ate and absorbed you, what adaptation do you provide to the hive mind? Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
I
So
bring
what you're
Taco
saying
Bell.
is immunity to like dying from eating anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Immunity to all the abilities that explode and they say it affects everyone except for Nurgle. It also includes you.
yeah. Exactly.
Mine would actually nerf them.
Yeah, it's a negative.
So
no.
so this is another Star Trek reference
All
though.
Psyker's perils.
Where yeah exactly. You know in Star Trek when they return the Borg guy that has become like an individual and
absolutely.
like messes with them. It's like that, but it like the instantly perils or they'll like always be considering and it makes them like hesitate.
They have
when
to talk
shouldn't.
out everything.
Yeah. So it's like it's not a good thing. What about you?
I give them some of that blue orc luck.
Yeah,
So things just work out well for them.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. There's they start growing beards all of a sudden.
Yeah. And they're just very lucky.
Yeah.
Like ordnance just lands next to them and doesn't explode, and they're like, that was good.
nice.
Yeah, it worked
Yeah.
out. And then they put on their sweater and they
Yeah.
walk out.
That's right.
It's true. They're always the perfect temperature. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Joseph. Given a similar amount of points, are Thunderhammers or Chainswords better for Death Company Marines? I think it comes out to about 7 to 10.
Interesting.
Well, here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
If you're bringing Death Company, you're bringing them for one of 2 things, and they're very different things.
Yeah.
And you do them with Thunderhammers or Chainswords.
You're right.
Not both. You're either trying to absolutely shred whatever their small troops are.
Yep.
Like they have 20 Poxwalkers, 20 Necron Warriors. You want to cut through all of that.
Yeah.
Chainswords, because they get like 6, 7, some ridiculous number of attacks per model. Or you're trying to kill a thing that has a lot of wounds, or it's very tough, or it has -1 damage.
Yeah.
You bring those Thunderhammers, you come in, you smack them. So it's apples and oranges, my dude. They just do different things.
And since the army has so many attacks to begin with, often you can fill the chainsword role
something
easier.
else. Yeah.
Whereas there's no other unit in the Codex that does mass Thunderhammers better. There's no army, no
Right.
unit anywhere in Imperium that does mass 3 damage better, right?
Right.
So it's like a unique thing with Thunderhammers. It's not that unique with chainswords, right? Like
agreed.
even your assault intercessors are basically the same number
They're
of
up
attacks,
to 6, yeah.
right? Yeah, it's the same number of attacks. So at the end of the day, the Thunderhammers are more interesting, but
Yeah.
not every army has to have it. It's just a cool thing to have in your pocket.
Yeah. Thank you, Keldorf. Hey, Titans. How do you guys safely transport your models to tournaments? On a different note, what are your favorite AOS armies you currently own?
Gloomspite Gates. Still my favorite of all time.
Seraphon's my favorite. It's going to be Lumineth Realm Lords when I finish painting them. But I'm still looking at them on the shelf. I'm anxious.
feeling
Coming on
it.
Saturday, I'm going to pre-order a bunch more. They've been showing off some crazy stuff with the Realm Lords.
So
I don't know
cool.
if you saw the Swordmasters auto hit and wound on 2s. Like,
Yeah,
what?
that's-
Why?
I don't know.
I'm into it though.
I like how Sigmar is slowly just becoming an anime.
It is. It's not very slow. It's like in the past year,
Yeah.
they've just like hit the gas.
They're
on
just like,
anime.
oh, you seen high fantasy? This is the highest fantasy.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get so yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, Transport Zigzag Foam, like GW
Yeah.
Zigzag Foam, is not only does it hold a lot,
Yeah.
but I've never broken a single model in Zigzag Foam. and it's you just buy from Games Workshop store. You carry your whole army, carry any army in it. I love it.
I use Table War with a Magna Rack inside, so you can magnetize everything very nicely. And if I'm just in a car, it's super easy. If I'm flying, I always prioritize checking no matter what. Obviously, you can't check that; it would be horrible.
Yeah.
But I just don't take any chances.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Purple Orange Juice. That's a cool name.
Delicious.
Greetings, longtime listener, new member here. Just a quick, well done. Take my money and keep it up. Rip Plo Koon.
Thank you. I know, poor Plo Koon, my hipster Jedi pick. Well, thank you for support.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Honestly, it's really appreciated. Helps keep this going.
Yeah. Thanks again, Ryuni. Not again. We're gonna go with Ryuni because it's got Ryu in it. Please don't encourage my friend. She already has 30 Alaris Terminators. Now she wants 100 Custodian Guard. All right, that is. I've wanted to play.
That's awesome.
The 33 Alaris Terminator army.
Wait, why 33?
How many did we play? What was the largest number we got?
20.
20, right?
Ish.
Yeah, and it would have been cooler to have 30.
You can have an army that's entirely Alaris. Because you can have Alaris Shield Captains, and then 3x10 Alaris Terminators, and you're just like, what up?
And then you unleash the lines on one of them. You actually have like a real army.
That's cool.
It's so cool. I want to play that. So, your friend is not crazy. There's a great reason to own that many Alaris.
They're visionary.
They're visionary, yeah.
That's so cool.
But 100 Custodian Guards too many.
We almost did it, right? Remember that
we
talked and we went on the Games Workshop site to buy like 9 boxes.
Yeah.
They were sold out.
If they weren't sold out,
we were like, we lost interest.
Like,
you had your chance.
Yeah.
And then like I got an email like a month later, like they're back in stock, and I was like, nah, you had your chance. I was gonna buy those 9 boxes, but
yeah. All right, last one of the night. Thanks, Joseph. Sorry that I brought up charge. Ask because one Discord decided charge equals fight first. They always go by strictest definition of rules as written, except when they don't. Yeah. Like, COVID times have been very tough for Warhammer players interpreting rules because they don't get the games in to like see how it feels. They just read the words and say, black and white, this is how I think it should work.
Sure. Yeah.
And then they have that argument online. So all they have is this negative experience. And they don't get that FaceTime. They don't play and say, like, does this feel right?
Well, also,
are we having a good time?
Events usually solve this, right? Like, all the events are going to agree on almost like one interpretation.
Yep.
And then it's irrelevant the way it even is worded. It could be worded the opposite of this, but if the community agrees, then the community is spoken.
Brian, your mic pack, it's got to go somewhere else. Or it's dead. One of the two.
It's dead.
Oh. Well, good to know.
What? And it's back on. That might mean the other one's dead on the other side, though.
Oh, maybe.
I think it's dying. But yeah,
good thing we're done.
Don't feel bad for asking a question. It's a complex issue, and that's what we're here for, right?
And it comes up because there is a lot of controversy about it. It's not like specific to like I let out a very visible and audible sigh of like getting kind of tired of this, but we signed up for it. We're streamers. Like we're gonna get the same question 1,000 times, and I should just be better about that. It's not you.
It's me.
It's me.
It's all good. There's these tough questions, and we just got to work through them. Like you said, though, especially with COVID, it's tough to get that feedback. So we play a few games, and so happy to do it. Yeah.
Well, that's... Oh, we got one more.
I had a feeling.
All right, thanks again, James Workshop. So me and my friend are each playing different DW armies against each other. Who has the advantage, and any pointers for our DW forces against each other? Well, I think Deathwing is going to be at an inherent advantage against Deathwatch.
Yeah. Or even against other Deathwing.
You know? Deathwing always wins when they fight each other. Also, the Imperium always wins, because Chaos is dying.
Chaos, yeah. No, but yeah, seriously, the Deathwing is going to have a big advantage against the Deathwatch. Right? Like, unequivocally. Like, Deathwatch is an expert at targeted strikes, dropping down, hitting the opponent where they're weakest. And things with Deathwing, like, you're not weakest anywhere. Like, what are you going to do? Hit their like Terminator Storm Shield unit in the back of the board? Good luck.
Right.
So, definitely advantage there.
Excellent point, Brian. Excellent point.
Yes. Good talk. Oh, man, he's accelerating. Yeah.
The candy's going to be gone in a week.
They're miniature. All right. Will that do it for tonight?
That's going to do it for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of The Good Talk. We'll be back again on Saturday with the debut of the Drukhari Codex. You guys will have it in hand. I'm really excited to play another version, again, trying out some of the non-real space raid stuff, the new Triple Patrol. There's new stuff coming out every single day as far as like what's interesting, what's good. Been discussing with a lot of people. So that's going to be Saturday, Drukhari versus Salamanders. We also, as we mentioned, have a bunch of videos coming up very, very soon, some of which explicitly talk about these amazing things you can do with the new Codex. So as always, thank you guys for spending some time with us, and we'll catch you next time on the Tabletop.